What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Medicom Toys Mafex Cyborg Superman from the Return of Superman. And so here we have Cyborg Superman posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through his accessories. Cyborg Superman does come with an array of hands. He does come with a pair of fists, a pair of relaxed hands, a pair of splayed open style pose hands, a pair of flat palm hands, a left hand for holding his cape, and a right pointer finger hand. And then he also does come with his arm cannon, which looks really nice, and that does come with beam effects that you can attach into it. Other than that, we don't get any other accessories with Cyborg Superman. So with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at the Cyborg Superman. And so here we have a closer look at Cyborg Superman, and I think Mafex has done a phenomenal job with this figure, with one exception, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But for right now, let's talk about this head sculpt. Glorious head sculpt, absolutely love it. It really does encapsulate the Cyborg Superman look from the Return of Superman, and they did a very good job. It does look like they modified the Hush Superman head sculpt, because that really does look like the Hush Superman along with his hair. And then of course we have the Cyborg half of Cyborg Superman. It does look really nice, and I do like the effort that Mafex put into it. You can even see his chin has a little red light. I want to say that's a light, and then his red eye looks really good. Then we go on to his torso, where they did a very good job of dividing the Superman and the Cyborg, if I can just put that lined up like that. Really do like the blue that they use with this. This is very similar to the Hush blue and the the Dark Knight Returns blue that they used for their Superman, so that looks really good. I do like it. I like the S shield on it. It looks really nice. I like all these mechanical bits you see, all these tubings, the wirings look really nice going into the mechanical parts. They even added a black wash on the metal parts just to get into all those crevices, and you can see it does a really good job bringing all these details out. Very good effort by Mafex here. You can see even on the back, it's very nicely detailed with all these tubes, these panels. Everything has this really nice wash to it, so it does bring out all those very good details. And I like the fact that the wash doesn't bleed over to the blue. That is a very good job there. Now, if there's one thing I don't really like about this figure, it's his cape. I do understand what they were going for. Cyborg Superman kind of had this big billowing cape, and they did a really good job of making it look that way, but at the same time it sacrifices some aesthetic, because if we can look under his cape really fast, there are 3 massive wires underneath his shoulder, or underneath the cape where his shoulders rest, and yeah, it does pop his cape up a lot. You can see that. Now, like I said, I understand the aesthetic that they were going for, because Cyborg Superman had this really big billowing cape like that when he was fighting Superman. But there could have been another way to do this, because it doesn't look nice sitting in a natural position, because those wires are so thick, it pops the cape up so much that it's impossible to get it to sit flush. I guess if you cut these out, you can get it to go the way you want it, but yeah, we shouldn't have to do that. There was ways they could have done this big billowing effect without adding these monstrosities in the back. I mean, you can kind of try to fold them down, but even then, because they're so thick, they don't really sit flush. So if I have one gripe, it's the cape. They could have designed that a little bit better, but it still has your standard wireframe going throughout the entire cape, especially right here in the bottom where you can see it is nicely bunched up, which that's a really good look. I do like that. Having a look at the rest of the figure, I want to talk about his abdomen really fast, because that is very good. I like the way his abdomen looks. That looks like a separate piece that's attached down here, but no, it's actually attached to his torso, and that moves with it. So yeah, very nice movement right there, and that looks very nice. He does have the standard Superman trunk, so that does look nice. Then we get on to his left leg, where you can see he has the mechanical Cyborg part showing, and again it carries over that beautiful black wash that highlights all those details. And the left leg from mid-thigh down, it's all mechanical, like there is no Superman left here. I guess you can say that he has the M on the boots, but yeah, it's all Hank Henshaw from right here. That is all Cyborg Superman. On the right leg, you can see some of the metal poking through. It's almost like it got ripped off right there and right there, even though that really wouldn't make sense. Like if you were to do this symmetrically, that should also be on this side, but that's not. So yeah, kind of strange design that he has that random spot of metal right here, but again, it was the 90s, so it was the cool factor. But he does have the standard Superman boot, which again kind of strays away from the symmetrical look of it, because it kind of has that part around the calf, but you can see it doesn't follow the Superman boot. So yeah, it's a really strange asymmetrical design, but it looks nice. And in case you guys are wondering, yes, he does share a couple of parts from the Hush Superman, mainly this arm. This arm is probably the only reuse he has, maybe his foot too. But yeah, the foot and obviously this arm are reused. Everything else has been modified or retooled for this figure, so I really do like that. So with that out of the way, guys, let's actually get Cyborg Superman posed and compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Cyborg Superman posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Cyborg Superman posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Cyborg Superman posed next to a Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And for one final comparison, here we do have Cyborg Superman posed next to the Mafex Superman from The Return of Superman. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually have a look at his articulation. Now, he does have your standard Mafex crooked ball joint here at the head, meaning it's a barbell with a crook in it, which does allow for some better movement looking back or looking up. Not so much looking down, but you can switch that joint around to give him better movement. Really nice head tilt right there. Does turn left and right, no problem. Then he does have a ball joint here in the neck, which does help with a lot of movement there. You can see he buries his chin, no problem. Looks up, no problem. So yes, really good range in the head. Again, we do have a wireframe in the cape where you have the outer wire, which does allow it to move out. Then we have these thicker wires, which allow it to billow out and up like that. Kind of like it did in the comic, but yeah, it's kind of strange how they did it. Not a fan of it, but it does work for what you need it to. He does have your standard butterfly joint here, which is essentially just a ball joint going into this shoulder cap, which does allow the arm to move forward and back. On this side, you can see it does move forward and back as well, does pivot down and up, goes out to the side very nicely. Let's see, both arms, yes, both arms go out way past the T pose. He's almost doing a Y pose. Moving that joint back, he does rotate all the way around. He swivels here at the bicep, double bend here at the elbow, going really nice. And then again, same on this side, although be careful because this might pop off, because this is how you interchange his canyon arm. So really do like that. He has your standard ball hinge here at the wrist, so it does go in and out or up and down depending on how you have that joint. He has a double ball joint here in the torso, which does allow his movement to go back and forward. You can pivot forward and back, side to side, rotates really nicely. Then we have a second ball joint here at the waist, which does go back, goes forward quite a bit, and I do like that. Swivels as well. Legs do kick forward to about right there. They kick back, drop down hinge, so they go out to the side. Could be better, but it still works for Cyborg Superman. We have a swivel up high in the hip. Then we do have a double jointed knee, which that looks really nice, especially here on the Cyborg Superman leg right here. No boot swivel, but we do have rotation here at his ankle, which is on another ball joint, so that does hinge forward and back. Forward facing pin for rocker ankle rotates as well. And then we have a very generous toe hinge on this side. Generous toe hinge on the other side too. So yeah, really liking the range on Cyborg Superman. So With that out of the way, guys, let's actually get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Mafex Cyborg Superman pose for my final thoughts, and overall, Mafex has done it once again, making another comic book character just jump out of the comic book and into your hands. I really like the way this figure came out. Now, like I said, my gripe with the cape is one that I think is a legitimate gripe. If you're not posing your figure around, as you can see, I have him posed with the cape in a very dynamic pose, and it looks spectacular. It is an amazing cape when you have it nicely posed. For the people that do vanilla poses with this figure, you are going to have a little bit of a hassle with the cape, mainly because of those really thick wires underneath the shoulder part of the cape. Does make it like it can't really sit flush. It really can't, just because of how thick those wires are. So if you are going to pose him in a vanilla pose, you might want to look into posing his cape in a dynamic way, because otherwise it's just going to look a little bit weird. Overall, I think they did a really good job with the accessories that he has. I think an alternate head would have been nice, but again, I really don't know what alternate head they could have really thrown on this Superman, because he's Cyborg Superman. You don't want him to have a standard Superman head, especially if he already has his metal parts showing. So yeah, I do understand why they went the route of not including an alternate head, and yeah, it's kind of sad that we don't get an alternate head, but at the same time, source material says he doesn't need one. Other than that, I'm still really happy with this figure. If you are looking for Cyborg Superman, he is in stock at HobbyLink Japan at the time I'm making this video, which is where I picked up my Cyborg Superman. Now, I did pay about $70 for my Cyborg Superman. If you guys are buying these figures domestically, yes, you are paying at least $100 per figure. If you're buying them overseas, you're paying them at cost. You just have to get them imported over, which shipping can be a little bit expensive, but if you are willing to put up with that, you can get them for about maybe $85-$90, which does save you a little bit of money. So if you guys are looking for this figure, he is available on HobbyLink Japan at the time I'm making this video, and he will be available in the States shortly, so do be keeping an eye out for this figure. I really do recommend him if you're a fan of Superman and his Rogues Gallery, or just a really big fan of the return of Superman story. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Mafex and DC videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll gladly have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified anytime I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.